Hello and welcome to a new edition of Interview with Irene. Today my lovely guest is Skyler Rankin and we will talk about her writing and books and zombies. So I'm looking forward to this one. Welcome, Skyler.
Hi, Irene. Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course, glad to thank you for being on. Um, So I thought we could begin by you telling us a little about how you started writing.
Okay, sure. I started writing when I was probably in the sixth grade. I've always loved books. I mean, books were my escape, they were my fantasy, they were everything I could do in my little small town. There wasn't much else going on, so I buried myself in books.
Um,
Um, And when I got to be in about the sixth grade, I started doing some fun writing in a little bit of a different genre. It was mostly romance. And I started writing for my friends. They wanted specially made stories just for them, and they would tell me, the main elements that they wanted in the stories, and I would put them together for them and just give them to them. And so I created, in a way, it was kind of like a teenager soap opera that
mm,
involved stories from all my friends, and they would share them around and kind of follow the storyline. And I loved it. And I honestly really wanted to be a writer all my life. It's just that, my parents were pushing me to get a real job. and uh, and I did that for a long, long time. And now that I'm getting closer to an age where, retirement is right around the corner, I have an opportunity to do some actual writing, and things are very different now, with publishing. So that's why I'm kind of just now getting started.
that's wonderful.
Thank
And as I was telling you, I started that book you sent me and really got me. And would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. The first two books that I wrote are zombie novels. They're
And
aimed they're aimed toward the young adult market, um, but I think that adults could probably enjoy them too. Um, the first one I wrote was Viral Dawn. Let me try to get this on here so there's no glare. Um, but it's the story of an 18-year-old high school student named Casey Williams, and she is living at home with parents that are disengaged from her life pretty much. And she's taking care of her foster brother who has a disability. And the outbreak occurs when she's at school one day. And the whole first book is the story of her survival with trying to hold up in her high school with her friends just to get through. Um, and the end of the book leaves with them having discovered um, a major, I guess you would say, conspiratorial plot on the part of an evil biogenetics company that is starting this outbreak. And so they're learning about that. And book two just came out, and it is Viral Storm. And it is it is the next in the series, and readers will be happy to know that I left them kind of hanging, and I didn't do that on purpose, but I left them hanging with the fate of Casey's foster brother at the end of book one. But in book two, they'll find out what happens with her foster brother. So that storyline continues in that book as well. So in the book, they're continuing their fight to try to find out what's really going on and how far this conspiracy goes and why the company is unleashing these deadly viruses on the population. And at this point, they're trying to decide whether to flee or to fight. And the next book will be coming out probably next year and finish out the series. I hope. I had planned on finishing it with book one, believe it or not, but the story just kept growing on me. You know, you hear stories about authors who write a story and then the characters take over. It
Yeah.
happens. It really happens. I didn't believe that that happened, but it does. And so,
Sure.
as long as they want me to write, I feel like I have to.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, um, besides zombies and romance, would you like go back to writing romance or try a whole new genre also?
Oh, sure. Absolutely, I would. I love books of all kinds, and I hope not to be stuck in one genre for that reason.
Right.
I just want to write stories that people enjoy, and they don't have to be a specific type. I'm
Mm.
also doing some narrating. I just now got started into doing that and did some audiobooks in a different genre for one of my fellow writers, Karen Vaughn. And she is a lovely writer who does these wonderful, cozy mysteries. And I did her book, Over Her Dead Body, and also Dead on Arrival. And I'm getting ready to work on her next book, which is Daytona Dead.
I read Daytona that I love it and hoping to have her in the near future too. She
She's
is
such a lot of fun.
lovely. Yes.
Those
And
books
that
are real.
you are wonderful.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed the work and I really appreciated that Karen trusted me with her work because I wanted to bring it to life. And I love her characters. They're so engaging. And
Right.
her main character is such a snarky, smart, sassy young woman that you just can't help but love her.
Right. That's incredible. Besides writing, do you have any other interests or?
Sure. I actually am still employed full time and I write in my spare time. And hopefully, when I get closer to retiring, I'll be able to write full time. But right now, I work as an administrator at a university, and I do that. And I also love cats and dogs. I have two cats and a dog. Um, I'm married, and I have a 25-year-old daughter who is just announced that she's going to be getting married soon. So
Uh,
life is busy.
congratulations.
Yeah, I love crafts. I don't have nearly enough time to do it. I like to crochet. I'd like to do just about anything with my hands. But just, the time is the limitation on those things.
Wonderful. And do you have any advice for future writers?
Sure, I would say if you love to write, write. The barriers are down now. When I first started writing years ago, the whole publishing process was very different. You would put together a manuscript and you'd mail it off somewhere, and you may or may not hear something back in a year or two. I mean, it was that long and discouraging, but now the web has opened up the marketplace and you can publish from anywhere with a computer. All you need is the internet and the computer, and you can go. And in fact, there are some local public libraries who have resources where you can do it online without even owning your own equipment. So, that's worth looking into. I would say read a lot, get some critical friends around you who can read your work and give you the feedback you need, and do what you can to study and polish your own writing style. Check out books on writing. Become a master of your craft if you can,
Right.
but don't wait until everything is in place to make it work. Just go ahead and start and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Wattpad. I would also recommend Wattpad. If you're not familiar with Wattpad, it's wattpad.com, wattpad.com. And it's an online site for young writers or older writers who are just starting out. You can publish short stories online and start building an audience. Well worth looking into, if nothing else. If you're intimidated by the idea of starting out with a novel, you could do Wattpad and do short stories and get feedback and start getting a readership.
Right. That's incredible. Um, and going back quickly to your audiobooks and doing it for Karen, how has your audiobook adventure has gone so far?
My ideal book adventure.
Your audiobook adventure.
Oh, the audiobook. Okay. It's been fun. I have I started out, believe it or not, in radio a long, long time ago, and so I already had an interest in audio. Radio drama used to be a big thing, and I always thought it would be cool to do that. But now doing audiobooks from your home is a lot like that, and you can produce a really neat book with very few resources. So
Right.
um, I bought a Mac and got GarageBand and started recording. It took me probably maybe a year to figure out how to use all the new technology and to do it well. And now I'm producing audiobooks. I've got Karen Vaughn's, and I'm also working on another one for it's an epic fantasy. It is called shoot. Sister of the Brotherhood, and it's by author Jenny Patrick, who also writes under the name of Virginia Smith. And I'm excited about that. It's in the works right now. Um, I loved the story. I fell in love with it, but it was a huge amount of work because there were so many characters and I had to develop voices for the different characters, but it stretched me. It made me learn, and that's a good thing. Um, and I'm also going to try my hand at some romance novels for Mary B. Moore, who is an author in Great Britain, which blows my mind that I've got Karen Vaughan in Canada. I've got Jenny Smith over in Indiana, and then I've got Mary Moore in Great Britain, and it just is so cool to be able to connect with those authors all over the world. But my ideal production would be, just anything that um, I can bring to life that complements, that my voice can complement the work and vice versa. So that it's a good reading experience. I want people to be able to listen and get lost in the story, so much so that they kind of forget that they're being told a story and become surrounded by it. So that's my goal.
Wonderful. And it was wonderful to have you. Thank you so much, Skyler, and hoping we can have you again too
Well,
sometime.
thank you. I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining me for another episode. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.